Construction work in the new capital city to start in second half this year. Foreign tourist arrivals fell by 61% in 2021. Good evening. It's Thursday, Februari 3rd. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business and economic. And with me, Fajar Wayong. You're watching Market Headlines. And let's open today's Market Headlines. The Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing stated that the construction of the new capital city is divided into 3 stages, while the physical construction for the new capital city would begin in the second semester of 2022. The Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing stated that physical construction for the new capital city in East Kalimantan would begin in the second semester of 2022. Head of the Infrastructure Development Planning Task Force for the new capital, Imam Santoso Ernawi, said that before carrying out physical construction, the ministry had already made a grand design of the project. The construction was carried out from 2019 or since Presiden Joko Widodo assigned the ministry.
Mulai awal semester 2 2022 itu sudah harus mulai fisiknya. Semuanya itu yang akan diprioritaskan. Jadi tentunya lebih cepat lebih baik. Untuk lebih cepatnya ada beberapa kriteria yang harus dipenuhi. Pertama adalah ketersediaan alokasi anggarannya itu di kementerian mana atau di badan otorita gitu ya. Kemudian ada juga yang kemungkinan terkait dengan lahan, kesiapan tentunya ini lebih mudah karena itu adalah bidang produksi ya, HDI. Dan kemudian yang ketiga yang juga penting adalah skema bagaimana pengadaan barang dan jasa.
The grand design was made in parallel with Bappenas, which prepared the master plan, and the Ministry of Agrarian and Spatial Planning, which prepared the land management plan. Imam said that for now, the construction of the new capital city is divided into 3 stages, one of them making the basic design. At this stage, several priority buildings have been completed, including the State Palace and Ministry buildings. IDX Channel reports. As an effort to anticipate the normalization of monetary policy globally, Bank Indonesia will increase the minimum mandatory rupiah reserve requirement by 300 basis points for commercial banks this year. Bank Indonesia will increase the minimum mandatory rupiah reserve requirement by 300 basis points for conventional commercial banks this year. The central bank will also increase the minimum statutory reserve requirement for Islamic commercial banks and Sharia business units by 150 basis points.
Likuiditas di perbankan itu sangat-sangat besar, yaitu alat likuid per DPK itu sekarang itu 35%. Jadi sekali lagi alat likuiditas perbankan sangat-sangat melimpah, yaitu 35% alat likuid per DPK. Sebelum COVID, yang terbesar itu hanya 21%. Oleh karena itu, dengan kenaikan GWM yang tadi saya sampaikan 350 basis point, yaitu untuk bank umum konvensional, 150 basis point di Maret, kemudian 100 basis point di Juni, dan 50 basis point di September, itu alat likuid akan turun, ya, tapi dari 35% ke 30%, 30%. Alat likuid per DPK akhir tahun kita perkirakan menjadi 30%. Sedangkan dengan likuiditas itu masih akan mampu menyalurkan kredit pembiayaan kepada perbankan dan membeli SBN di pasar tentu saja perdana.
Periwarjo ensured that the plan to increase the statutory reserve requirement would not affect banking liquidity. According to Perry, the ratio of liquid assets to third-party funds is still 35%. Perry projects that the ratio of liquid assets to third-party funds will only decrease to 30% with an increase in the minimum statutory reserve requirement. He added that the increase in the statutory reserve requirement would not hinder banks in extending credit. In addition, banking liquidity is still sufficient to purchase state securities in the primary market. IDX Channel reports. Meantime, the Financial Services Authority, or OJK, ensures that it continues to strengthen its lending policy by implementing a credit restructuring policy that will continue until 2023. Chairman of the OJK Board of Commissioners, Wimbo Santoso, said that the policy was strengthened by OJK's efforts to continue evaluating bank credit restructuring policies. Wimbo conveyed that the restructuring policy issued by the OJK has benefited millions of debtors, which includes more than 3.1 million debtors, including individuals. In the future, OJK is committed to strengthening policies in responding to various global or domestic challenges. This includes increasing the role of the financial services sector in accelerating national economic recovery and in particular on priority sectors and sectors that require more support.
2021 lalu juga telah memperpanjang kebijakan restrukturisasi kredit dan pembiayaan hingga 2023 ya. Ini untuk memberikan ruang bagi sektor jasa keuangan terutama perbankan dan lembaga pembiayaan untuk membentuk cadangan sehingga nanti pada saat dinormalkan ini akan tidak mengganggu stability dari balance sheet perbankan maupun lembaga pembiayaan tersebut ya. Di samping itu OJK juga telah memberikan pelonggaran ATMN sebagaimana tadi disampaikan oleh Bu Menteri Keuangan, kredit dan pembiayaan di sektor properti, kendaraan.
And we're moving on to global update. India will launch a digital version of the rupee this year. Meanwhile, the Biden administration believes that Spotify's move to add advisory warnings to podcasts discussing COVID-19 is a positive step. More stories on today's International Minute. Kim Jong-un's wife and aunt have been seen in rare public appearance, the first time they've been spotted in 2022. The family of the North Korean leader have kept a low profile since the start of the pandemic, with his wife not seen publicly since September last year and his aunt since January 2020. But Ri Sol-ju and Kim Kyung-hui have now both been seen on state media attending an art performance at the Mansudae Art Theater in Pyongyang to celebrate the Lunar New Year. India's finance minister has said the country will launch a digital version of the rupee as early as this year. In her annual budget speech, Nirmala Sitharaman also outlined plans for a 30% tax on income from digital assets. It would put profits from trading or transferring cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens in the country's highest tax band. India is the latest major economy to announce an official virtual currency as China trials the digital yuan. Nuclear and natural gas energy plants could be counted as green energy under controversial EU plans just unveiled. The European Commission says it has decided that both types of energy can classify as sustainable investment if they meet certain targets. But the move has divided the EU and been fiercely opposed by some members. Austria's Chancellor responded to the news by saying nuclear power is neither green nor sustainable. The Biden administration believes that Spotify's move to add advisory warnings to podcasts discussing COVID-19 is a positive step, according to Press Secretary Jen Psaki. The move comes after several musicians asked to have their music pulled from the streaming service amid growing controversy over Joe Rogan's show. Psaki said the White House hoped other platforms would follow suit. IDX Channel reports. Bali Airport to welcome international flight arrivals. Market headlines. We'll be right back.
Market Review Senin sampai Jumat pukul 10 hanya di IDX Channel.
Saya Prisa Samodatu membawakan program berita News Screen yang menghadirkan informasi seputar ekonomi maupun juga bisnis dari dalam negeri.
IDX First Session Closing Market, Senin sampai Jumat pukul 11.30 hanya di IDX Channel.
Presiden Joko Widodo kembali menghimbau pekerja perkantoran untuk bekerja dari rumah atau work from
Kumpulan
home.
berita ekonomi dan bisnis dari dalam negeri.
Bekerja dari rumah, work from home, lakukanlah.
Pemerintah resmi memperlakukan minyak goreng satu harga sebesar
Mengungkap fakta dan data perekonomian secara mendalam.
Jenis kemasan.
Seluruh minyak goreng akan dijual 14.000
Senin sampai Jumat pukul 14.30 hanya di IDX Channel. Perbincangan hangat tentang isu dan kebijakan ekonomi terkini yang diulas secara mendalam bersama narasumber terpercaya. Senin sampai Jumat pukul 10 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat hanya di IDX Channel.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX First Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
You're watching Market Headlines. The Central Statistics Agency, or BPS, noted that foreign tourist arrivals have decreased again throughout 2021. Based on BPS data, foreign tourist arrivals only reached 1.6 million, or a decrease of 61.57% compared to 2020. Head of BPS, Margo Yuwono, said this tourist visit was indeed recorded an increase of 8.66% in December 2021 compared to the previous month. However, foreign tourist arrivals, which reached 163,600 at the end of last year, still contracted by 0.28% on an annual basis. Judging from the structure in December 2021, 65.2% or 106,600 foreign tourists who came to visit Indonesia used land transportation modes. Meanwhile, 39,200 or 24% use sea transportation and the rest use air transportation.
Kunjungan Wisman ini tercatat 1,6 juta orang, ya sekitar 1,6 juta kunjungan, mohon maaf, 1,6 juta kunjungan. Ini menurun 61,57% kalau dibandingkan tahun 2020 ya. Jadi kita bisa melihat bagaimana tren dari kunjungan Wisman ini selama pandemi ini kalau kita bandingkan sebelum pandemi, khususnya di tahun 2019 gitu ya. Menurunnya cukup tajam ya. Kalau kita lihat pertumbuhannya secara kumulatif ya, Timor Leste, Malaysia, Tiongkok ya, ini secara keseluruhan ya.
Throughout 2021, Finance Ministry ensured that the government has provided various incentives for MSMEs, including vinyl income tax and interest subsidy for people business credit. The ministry revealed that the income tax incentives disbursed reached 800 billion rupiah, while interest subsidy hit 284 trillion rupiah. The Ministry of Finance disbursed funds of 800 billion rupiah to provide income tax incentives or final MSME income tax throughout 2021, where these incentives were given to as many as 138,365 business actors in the country. The Minister of Finance, Sri Mulyani Indrawati, revealed that the total of people's business loans that received interest subsidy facilities from the government reached 284.9 trillion rupiah, which had been given to 7.51 million MSME debtors. Meanwhile, the government has also disbursed non-currency interest subsidies to 8.33 million SMEs. So far, the government has been recorded to have guaranteed credit for MSME actors amounting to 53.41 trillion rupiah, which was given to 2.45 million debtors.
Dari sisi pemerintah memberikan insentif PPh final UMKM yang ditanggung pemerintah. Pemerintah juga memberikan subsidi bunga bagi UMKM, baik ini melalui KUR maupun UMI. Serta pemerintah memberikan program penjaminan kredit bagi UMKM. Untuk tahun 2021, insentif PPh final UMKM yang ditanggung pemerintah telah dimanfaatkan oleh 138.635 pelaku UMKM dengan nilai 0,8 triliun rupiah.
For information, all subsidies for MSMEs are included in the National Economic Recovery Program, especially in the MSME and corporate support clusters. In 2021, the funds allocated specifically for the MSME and corporate clusters reached 171.77 trillion rupiah. IDX Channel reports. Management of Bali's Ngurah Rai International Airport say the airport is fully prepared to welcome the inaugural international arrival after international flights were temporarily banned in an attempt to restrict the spread of COVID-19. The first commercial international flight set to arrive will be a Garuda Indonesia flight from Narita, Japan. This flight is scheduled to land at the Bali airport on Thursday afternoon, February 3rd. Stakeholder Relation Manager of State Airport Operator Angkasa Pura, Taufan Yudhistira, explained the preparations to welcome international travelers range from the flow of services from passengers upon arrival at the international terminal. They have also prepared a system on how passengers undergo PCR test until they leave for the hotel where they are quarantined. Yudhistira assures that airport workforces have all been vaccinated against COVID-19 and that other international flights set to arrive in Bali also include those served by Singapore Airlines and Batik Air at the end of February. The Ministry of Industry continues to strive to increase the contribution of the manufacturing sector to the national economy. For this reason, the government is preparing various priority programs that are expected to have a direct impact on the community. The Ministry of Industry continues to strive to increase the contribution of the manufacturing sector to the national economy. For this reason, with a 2022 budget ceiling of 2.86 trillion rupiah, the government is preparing various priority programs that are expected to have a direct impact on the community. The Minister of Industry, Agus Gumiwang Kartosasmita, targets that the absorption of the budget can reach above 60% by next June. But the Ministry of Industry's budget this year will be allocated to organize vocational education programs through 3-in-1 training, D1 programs, as well as strengthening link and match revitalization between vocational high schools and industry.
Di bawah pengelolaan Kemenperin, ini kami menyelenggarakan di bawah BPSDMI diklat 3-in-1. Kemudian juga ada program D1 serta penguatan revitalisasi link and match antara SMK dan industri. Selain itu, kami akan melanjutkan pengembangan SDM Industri 4.0 melalui pembangunan kerjasama dengan industri dengan industri-industri agar mereka bisa turut serta dalam pembangunan ekosistem pusat industri digital Indonesia atau PD 4.0.
For information, throughout 2021, manufacturing investment was recorded at 325.4 trillion rupiah, an increase of 19.24% compared to the previous year, while the absorption of labor last year was 1.2 million people, so that the total number of workers in the manufacturing sector again increased to 18.64 million people. IDX Channel reports. Bank Syariah Indonesia posted 3 trillion rupiah net profit in the fourth quarter of 2021. Market headlines will be back after this quick break.
IDX First Session Closing Market, Senin sampai Jumat pukul 11.30 hanya di IDX Channel.
Sebenarnya pasar now itu apa sih? Boleh dong dijelasin?
Lebih singkatnya tuh pasar now e-grocery channel ya. Jadi kita adalah supply chain.
Perbincangan bersama sosok wanita yang menginspirasi.
Langsung antara petani dengan marketnya atau pasarnya.
Diulas secara santai dan mendalam.
Yang mana sih, B2B atau B2C?
Kalau untuk yang B2C, uniknya ibu-ibu karena
Women's Talk. Setiap Jumat pukul 12.30 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat hanya di IDX Channel. Perbincangan hangat tentang isu dan kebijakan ekonomi terkini yang diulas secara mendalam bersama narasumber terpercaya. Senin sampai Jumat pukul 10 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat hanya di IDX Channel.
Saya Mangivera Tjong dan rekan saya Wicky Adrian hadir dalam Power Breakfast.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang.
Indeks harga saham gabungan konsisten.
Simak pula analisa pasar modal dan inspirasi bisnis dari berbagai perusahaan rintisan. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, pukul 8.00 hanya di IDX Channel.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,724.4. And then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,682.17. And then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,683.85. And in short, Jakarta Composite Index went down 0.35%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got property as the leader of strengthening trend that went up 1.24%. Energy went up 5.9%. And we got technology sector as the leader of weakening trend that went down 2.82%. And transportation and logistics went down 1.34%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. Bank Rakyat Indonesia went up 1.72% to the level of 4,140 rupiah. Adaro Energy went up 0.45% to the level of 2,220 rupiah per share. Aneka Tambang went up 3.93% to the level of 1,850 rupiah per share. And Adaro Minerals went up 2.53% to the level of 1,215 rupiah per share. And meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Arto went down 3.76% to the level of 16,650 rupiah per share. Indica Energy went down 1.94% to the level of 2,020 rupiah per share. BCIP went down 3.55% to the level of 136 rupiah per share. And IPTV went down 6.9519% to the level of 158 rupiah per share. And let's see the movement rupiah towards US dollar open at the level of 14,347. Rupiah showing strengthening trend towards US dollar, and it was closed at the level of 14,322. In summary, rupiah went up 0.13%. During the fourth quarter of 2021, Bank Syariah Indonesia recorded a net profit of 3.03 trillion rupiah, or grew by 38.42% year-on-year. Indonesia recorded good performance during the fourth quarter of 2021 with a net profit of 3.03 trillion rupiah, or grew 38.42% compared to December 2020 of 2.19 trillion rupiah. The President Director of Bank Syariah Indonesia, Heri Gunadi, said in addition to net profit growth, the company's encouraging performance in 2021 can be seen from a number of other indicators, such as assets, which grew 10.73% to 265.29 trillion rupiah. Then financing grew 9.32% to 171.29 trillion rupiah, and third-party funds grew 11.12%. On the quality side, net MPF improved to 0.87% in December 2021. Improvements were also reflected in the company's main financial ratios in 2021. From the probability ratio that there was an increase in return on equity to 11.18% to 13.71%. In terms of return on assets, it increased from 1.38% to 1.61%. IDX Channel reports. In order to boost performance this year, Sawit Sumber Mas Sarana has budgeted a higher capital expenditure of 600 billion rupiah. In order to boost its performance this year, Sawit Sumber Mas Sarana has budgeted a higher capital expenditure. As for this year, Sumber Mas has budgeted a capital expenditure of 600 billion rupiah. This amount is higher than last year's allocation of around 550 billion rupiah. The Corporate Secretary of Sumber Mas Sarana, Swasti Kartikaning Tias, say that the capex will be used for planting or non-planting, which are sourced from internal funds. In terms of production, the company targets production in 2022 to increase by 6 to 8% compared to 2021. This increase in production will be supported by digitalization, by suppressing human error, so that the quality of fresh fruit bunches and oil is maintained. The company's performance growth in line with the development of industrial technology makes this company more optimistic in the future, especially in competing with the development of sustainable palm oil. For information, in the third quarter of 2021, Sumber Mas recorded a net profit increase of up to 286.38% to 1.03 trillion rupiah, a significant increase compared to the same period in 2020, which was only 267.65 billion rupiah. IDX Channel reports. And step aside from market condition as the efforts in achieving herd immunity is still going on. Here it is an update data about COVID-19 vaccinations in Indonesia. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel. I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening. Stay healthy.